The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Markets Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Thursday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN. Thanks for kicking off your trading day right here with me on the Morning Market Kickoff, and we got markets kicking things off in positive territory. We had jobs Wednesday yesterday. Quite the market volatility. We get a rip lower from 7,011 to 6,930, and we're right where we were almost at about noon Eastern time yesterday. You're positive, though, since we traded off a bit into the close yesterday. S&P's up by 23 points right now. We take a look at the daily. And yes, you had a little bit of an uptick in volume yesterday on that pullback on the S&Ps. We jump over to that active contract. On a volume basis, just something to watch. A little bit of an uptick with slightly lower prices. We'll see how the volume comes in today. You jump over the NASDAQ 100. We trade a bit higher with some extreme intraday volatility. I mean, check out that candle on the NASDAQ 100. Okay, up to a high of 25,465. A low of 25,058, 400 points, and we almost finished flat, right? Today, we're a bit higher. We'll see how the volume comes in. Dow, been so strong. Up by 0.25%, up 137 points, and you get the Russell right now, up 0.8%. Bitcoin, not a very encouraging chart, folks. You know, you have a nice sign of strength from last Friday, where the market really saved itself. But since then, I mean, look at how we just continue to trail off. Today, you're up by $200, but it's been lower prices. Bitcoin, 67,945. Ethereum, 1984 right now. And we jump to yields. So yields in the dollar. The real big reaction that you had yesterday. The 10-year right now, up 2 ticks at 112.11. And we've gotten back a lot of that move. Initially, on a hot jobs number, you had lower price, higher yield. The 10-year right now is still 4.17. Okay, 4.17 on the 10-year, 112.11. We jump over the dollar right now, 96.82. Again, the dollar gets an initial spike higher on higher yields, but even with higher yield, I mean, imagine you got a dollar that's trading right where you were coming into those numbers yesterday at 8:30. You're at 96.81 right now, and if you can't find a bid in the dollar when you have 130,000 jobs getting added, right? You got cuts getting pulled out of this market, so we have higher yield. You should have dollar strength, and it's just not happening. The dollar can just not find a bid. You're coming back down, and I think we're on our way to 90 over the course of this year. Dollar's at 96.81 right now. You jump over to metals. Gold holding up well. There's your daily. Yesterday, now we've been talking about the volume. Not exactly encouraging yesterday. Okay, another pretty weak day. 125,000 contracts yesterday. 125,000 outside of Monday and Tuesday. 125,000 is still the lowest volume day, as going back as far as I can see so far. What do you got to get back to? August 25th? I mean, think about that, folks. Yesterday's pop, which was more volume than Monday and Tuesday, is still the lowest volume day we've had in like 6 months. There's no volume in this metals market right now. And yes, that can lead to even more extreme volume, but it's not encouraging strength. You take a look at silver. Not quite as pronounced as gold, but pretty close. Yesterday's number in silver, only 60,000 contracts. Still one of the lightest volume days. You go back to December 8th. Then you go back to the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, November 24th. There's no volume right now in gold and in silver, and it translates to platinum as well. Okay, not as pronounced maybe, as I said with silver. Gold is really, but yeah, on a general basis, not much volume. Platinum right now, $21.30. Decent prices, but you'd like to see more volume coming into that market. We jump over to copper. There's a nice little uptick in copper, okay? If you're looking, folks, the copper stocks, I think they're some of the strongest equities out there. And look at copper. You jump over to Freeport-McMoRan right now. Look at this thing, man. Look at that weekly. You get some volume at the highs there. Okay, and that was quite a pullback. Jump over to Southern Copper. Yeah, look at this. Jump over to weekly on these equities. Back to copper. This is pretty intense, right? You look at the pullback we've had in metals, okay? And yeah, we got a pullback in copper from $6.58 to about $6 right now. That's your weekly basis. We got volume at the highs, all right? And you gave it up a bit, but we got volume. And then you look at the equities, and the equities are performing well. And then you look at the uptick in volume we had yesterday, okay? I just walked you through gold, silver, right? Even platinum. Yesterday's volume, one of the lightest volume days of the year outside of Monday and Tuesday. Not the case in copper. And then you look at the copper stocks. And remember, Freeport, they had an issue in September, an issue. You had, I think, 8 people die at one of their mines, a tragedy. The Grasberg mine produced a large percentage of the yearly production of copper at that mine alone. So that was the setback in September, and they're going to be dealing with that. I think it's coming online. It's pushing back production all the way to this year. So that was your setback there. And Southern Copper did not have that setback. So you've just been a rocket ship, man, from 74 to 206. But yeah, and look at this. You're going to be up by another $2 to $3 right now in the pre-market. Southern Copper pushing 209. Man, copper strong. But going back to gold, look at that daily drop-off in volume, right? There I am. Now, you take a look at the weekly on this, and we have today and tomorrow, okay? But yesterday, you did like 125,000 contracts. We're at 400 right now. This market's been doing over 1 million, almost, all right? 961 to kick off January 5th. We're not even going to be close on a weekly basis. And that acceleration, yeah. So on a longer-term basis, we're going to need more volume than this to hang at these highs, folks. That's the point. We're going to need it. You can't do it with this type of action when the volume is so dramatically lower. All right, we jump around to some of the equities. NVIDIA shares. So these chip stocks, man, look at NVIDIA. You're going to be up by another $2.36. NVIDIA, we take a look at the volume on this equity. And yeah, I like that strength. Okay, look at the way you come off those bottoms, man. And NVIDIA's been in a consolidation. You're talking about a consolidation that's now running almost 7 months, going back to July of last year. And really, you're challenging the upper boundary of that with volume. You've pulled back a bit on lighter volume, and we're coming up to the highs. The highs there, 193.66. And that was the high from Monday that you're coming into. About 194. We're trading at 192.30. All right, folks, we're coming back. We got Micron shares. Yeah, check out this move. They're up another $15 in the pre-market to $425. We'll be right back, folks.
Potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger Zen, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger Zen, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks, and we got markets green across the board. The chip stocks, Micron, quite a run yesterday. Folks, Tuesday, this equity was trading at 360 and change, right? What did we hit Tuesday morning? Let's see exactly. 366.06. We're at 426. Yeah, closed yesterday at 410. The CEO gives an update. Everything's going better, or at least as good as they thought and hoped when you're talking about chips. Basically, I'm surmising in the most basic terms. But yeah, you talk about an acceleration, and you take a look at the volume, and that was a nice volume spike. 48.4 million shares, and today we're pushing 425 on Micron. You got highs out here of 455. AVGO, jump around to some of the other chip stocks, up about $1.69 for Broadcom right now. Yeah, look at these chip stocks. All of them that were flying yesterday continuing that run. You got Clack up another almost $20. You got a bid ask of $14.93 by 1,500. We were at almost 1,400. We were at 14.18 on Tuesday, and we're at 1,500 right now. Yeah, it's a $1,500 equity. You're at $80 a share. And Lamb was a big one, I believe, yesterday as well, right? Yeah, and continuing today. Look at this, up another $5. Lamb up more than 2% right now, coming into the open. All right, let's talk some healthcare jobs. So check this out. Yesterday, almost the entire 130,000 was in healthcare and social services. Almost all of the jobs. Now, you had gains in other areas. Construction added like 33,000 jobs, basically in data centers. You had areas that obviously were declining. But if you take the net number for healthcare, it was almost all the jobs. Now, what the journal did here is healthcare and private education. Okay? Yeah, look at this number. If you just take out healthcare and private education since the beginning of 2025, You're down hundreds of thousands of jobs. Healthcare. And then you look at some of these numbers, remarkable. And as they say, nearly all the 130,000 healthcare jobs or positions related to healthcare. It's like home nurses, social services, construction added. That was a lot of data center construction jobs, okay, not home building construction jobs. And what you get into in this article, just some of the numbers that we're dealing with here. Immigration impacting a variety of industries, okay. Parts of the healthcare industry have become increasingly reliant on immigrant workforce. Now you have two ends of the spectrum in a certain degree. You have the highly skilled doctors, okay? And then you have on to the upper and the lower ends of the skill ladder, okay? Foreign-born workers in 2024, less than 15% of the population. They make up 40% of home health aides, 28% of doctors, 24% of dentists. So the rise in these healthcare and the construction, right? It's a little bit of a puzzle for the job market. 1/4 of the workers in the construction industry are foreign-born. When you get into the specialties, you're talking about drywall. 45% of painters, 39% of general laborers. But on the healthcare front alone, and this is where you better believe there's a demand. So you have difficulty with immigration numbers that we're usually filling some of these positions on the higher end and the lower end of the skill spectrum, okay? And so when you talk about even registered nurses, right, you're talking about bonuses, man, they got to fill them. 500 positions in nursing, one health system in Appalachia, due to largely higher demand from patients as they age into Medicare in their 60s. And yeah, this is quite an interesting one, as now our economy right now, very reliant on healthcare jobs. I mean, how about that number, right? Nobody would be aware of that unless you're really in the market. If you said to somebody, hey, how many jobs do you think, and this is not a knock on politics, it's the way that healthcare is exploding as it always has been. We got to get some of those costs under control somehow. Not surprising. And then you have construction jobs as well during the data center build out. Not a lot of people would be aware of that's where we are in the economy and the centralization that's going on healthcare. At the same time that healthcare costs are exploding, the amount of money we spend per capita, an amazing amount of money, not really in line with the overall health when you take into everybody in the country. And then you have, of course, okay, costs. And my dad would always say, right, that third-party payer, right, the third-party payer. You know, you're getting paid by somebody else, right? And yeah, what a business to be in. And when you combine the government with that, yeah, you better believe it, right? We've gone over those articles in terms of the big insurance companies, UNH, the $50 billion deal in terms of just basically going in, diagnosing people with conditions that then allow them to bill the government a greater amount per Medicare regulations, all the $50 billion, right? They go into people's houses, they give them $50 gift cards to Olive Garden, and then they get to bill the government $2,000 because they have a condition that's debatable at best. We digress, but man, pay attention to this trend, okay? Because at the time that you have these jobs exploding, the people filling those jobs are not as available when you're talking about immigrants on both ends of the spectrum. Therefore, you're creating a demand spectrum. And then you add into the fact that that's going to be inflationary. Okay, you have, and that's what they get into. You're talking about remarkable acceleration and the type of pay that they have to do and the bonuses in there. Registered nurses often earn $70 or more an hour. And yeah, as we mentioned, 500 open positions, filling that as you get, it's like the customer base is growing, right, as baby boomers need healthcare. At the same time that we are growing the economy based largely on healthcare jobs right now. jump over to UNH. Why not? Let's take a look. Not exactly a resounding buy. You know, you can always say these lows out here, we had a nice sign of strength. August 11th, that low there, 252. You got Buffett in this equity. It was always nice to have on your back. And yeah, you're getting into these prices right now at 2018 prices. But guess what, folks? You know, you are running a high-risk trade. Just recognize the risks. You know, there's an argument to be made that you found a bid out here in August, okay? But you better recognize the risks of what's going on in this insurance industry right now. And it's due for a shakeup. And if anything, this administration likes shaking things up. You saw what happened when you're talking about Medicare Advantage, right? Not raising what they're going to be paying. And yeah, there should be a little bit more scrutiny when you're talking about the insurance, and especially when it's coming from the government and the taxpayers. All right, we're coming back for the opening bell, folks. We'll be right back.
Investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got equities trading. You got the S&Ps up by 26 points, trading at 69.87. NASDAQ 100 right now up by 71 points. As we mentioned, those chip stocks rocketing higher again. Let's see how Micron opens. How about another 4.4%? You got highs out there at 455. You're trading at 427. Clacking up another $6 right now to 14.85. And Lamb basically flat. We jump around to the big dogs. NVIDIA up another 1.4% right at the top of this consolidation. Right back to where we were at the end of January. Highs out there at 194.49. We're at 192.76 right now. All right. Let's jump around to some of the equities we got moving this morning. We got some earnings out there. All right, restaurant brands. So you're talking about Burger King, which is a bulk of the segment. Same store sales outside of the U.S. and Canada. How about growing 6.1%? Whew. Analysts were looking for growth of just 3.7. We pull over the numbers. This is what I'm looking at here. Earnings, 96 versus 95. They beat on revenue barely as well. Fourth quarter income, 113 million. Net sales, as I said, 7.4%. Same store sales up 3.1%, but the international is the number. Outside of the U.S., 6.1%. Man. But not in the U.S., right? Popeyes was the laggard, down by 4.8%. The market was looking for a decline of 2.4%. I guess they're giving up some of those gains with all those, their chicken sandwich, right? They had the acceleration there a couple years back. Tim Hortons, up 2.9%. Market was looking for an increase of 3.6%. And Tim Hortons, 46% of the overall revenue during the quarter. It's good to be in the coffee business, man. And yeah, they're trying to revive Popeyes. They got a Burger King veteran due to lead the U.S.'s and the Canada's business. All right, nonetheless, restaurant brands down by 3.8% right now. We jump over to Cisco. Cisco out last night, down by 7.2%. Mediocre forecasts. Yeah. It's not what he have done for me in the past. What are you going to do for me in the future? They beat on the top and the bottom line. How about networking revenue up 21%? But guess what? For the current period, $1.02 to $1.04 on 15.4 to 15.6. Looks like they beat the number on revenue, but just in line in earnings. And yeah, they're looking for some AI exposure. And they're not getting it just yet. But revenue up 21%. $8.3 billion. Imagine, they got an $8.3 billion business growing at 21%. For the fiscal year, 413 to 417, $61 billion. Pretty much in line, but yeah, the market says no. We were looking for more than that, man. From 86 to 79, this thing's been on a heck of a run. But boy, that's quite a pullback. $10, just like that. We're down by $6.50 today. But this thing was at $88 on Tuesday. You came into those numbers at 85. We're trading at 79 right now. And yeah, you're going to get some volume on this move, man. It's only Thursday. Today's going to be a big day with earnings. And you're almost going to engulf the prior week. You get a low out there, an opening tick of 78.12. You close below that. You do with some volume. 151 million last week. Yeah, you're going to do some volume today on this type of a move. Cisco off by 8%. And boy, we haven't had a down day. And I kid, but April lows, one-way trip, man. You had a little volatility in their earnings 6 months ago. You shook that off, traded from 66 to 88. Cisco under pressure this morning. Some of the others. Viking Therapeutics. So another obesity drug. To advance their oral obesity drug in a phase 3 development. They report their numbers, a loss of $1.38 a share versus 90-cent loss is what they were talking about. When you're talking about an equity like this, yeah, it's the plan to advance an obesity drug, phase 3 development. Just take a look at the volume on this one. It's a daily, put it on a weekly. All right, you come in, you test this low. All right, not exactly a resounding sign of strength. We had some volume last week. This thing on a weekly basis, 18 million shares. We're only at 10 million right now on this pop. We'll see what comes in today, up by 14%. You talk about volatility in these GLP-1 drugs. Lilly, you might be making a run to almost 1,300 on Lilly. An A to B, C to D. Look how you break above this B point in August, right? You do it on this run here in November. Right there, all that volume. You didn't have that type of volume up here in the highs. That was your acceleration right here in August of 2 years ago. You break above that area on the run in November. Yeah, 1,300's out there. Even this pullback we have right now going on Lilly, look at this. Extremely light volume on the pullback, right? We got 2 days left, but you're at 9.6 million. You traded higher on 28 million. Novo, particularly volatile recently. And yeah, they got a problem, man. So I was listening to a Bloomberg. I'll try and find this and post it in the den. I was listening to a great Bloomberg segment last night. It was on at a Bloomberg radio. I was doing some work, listening to Bloomberg radio. Okay, we're looking at some charts. And they were talking about, it was the big take. And it was about the GLP-1s. And in particular, it was about Novo and their drug Wegovy, which is semaglutide, is about to lose patents already. So they just lost their patent in Canada in January. Okay, and this is common market knowledge. It's probably part of the reason. Not even probably, right? It has to be part of the reason. This thing's traded from 148 down to 48. This thing was a $600 billion company at one point. Now you're at $200 billion. Okay, they just lost their patent in Canada in January. They're losing their patent in China in March. In America, they got 6 more years, 2032. But that's going to be a bit of the framework. Now, Lilly makes a slightly different formula, which is Zepbound. That one, they have protection for a much longer period of time, as Wegovy's been out since 2018. So you're starting to lose some of those. You see the rise in Lilly over that period of time, and you see the pressure Novo's under, but the generics are going to start coming too. And then you see things like that with Viking Therapeutics. You're up by 15% on another phase 3. But yeah, be careful on Novo, man. I was reading that one, and these drug companies, they're innovative in figuring out a way to potentially make sure they're already talking about. We'll finish this conversation. We'll come right back, folks.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds for both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direction. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direction.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direction.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC. ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. We got equities open, green across the board right now. S&P's up by 0.4%, trading at 69.89. NASDAQ 100 up by 70 points, or 0.3%, 25,355. You got the Dow, 50,453, within only about 150 points of those all-time highs made Tuesday. And the Russell right now up by 18 points. Quite a sell-off yesterday in the Russell. Talking about those GLP-1 drugs again. So back to Novo. Okay, it's been quite a decline. And technically speaking, this is I was looking at this chart as this going forward, right? You got a nice little floor here. Okay, but boy, you have yet to find a real meaningful bid. They're out with their earnings again. And when you read this article, imagine trying to run this company. And you have, I believe it's 2/3 of their sales. Here it is. Yeah, Novo's semaglutide shots account for nearly 2/3 of the company's sales. Talking about 65% of your revenue comes from a product that now anybody in Canada is going to be able to get from a generic that might be $15 a month. China, that changes in March. And what they were talking about in this Bloomberg piece last night is that Canada has a highly regulated generic drug market. China, not so much. And that there actually might be instances when it comes to China where their patent expires in March. Might be the best example of how this happens even in the U.S. coming in 2032. Now, one of the things that Novo is doing is that they're investing in generic drug makers to actually try and absorb some of the generic sales that are going to occur off of their own semaglutide drug. Now, as I mentioned, Lilly has a different drug, okay? And maybe they mention it here, but it's actually a different drug. It's not even semaglutide. And it targets it's a slightly different drug versus semaglutide, which is Novo's Ozempic and Wegovy. But yeah, and people are in the know. But boy, how do you compete when this is what's happening? Okay? And yeah, look at this country. Look at the map. In 2026 is in the pink. This is when the patents run out. When you're talking about America, 2032. And that makes up 73% of all of their Ozempic and Wegovy sales. And they have 6 years to figure that out. But you're going to have generic drug makers, right, infiltrating this market and running that in Canada as well as in China and other parts of the country. And then they'll be ready to take it on in 2032 when it happens in America. And boy, so they got some issues, man. Not to mention they're going to be competing with Lilly. And Lilly, and I'll have to pull up exactly what they have, but yeah, they have a different, it's Zepbound is the name, but it's a different one. And then, in terms of the articles I was talking about, and then you get into what's happened right now, right? This article from 2 days ago, talking about Hims. They introduce a knockoff of Wegovy's drug. It's a pill. Then they take it off the market, and now they've gotten sued. And you jump over to that chart. Is that HIMS? Yeah, it is. HIMS. Easy enough. Look at this thing, right? They're going to face competition, too. And look at the selling on this equity. So be careful of this one, man. You know, $10 in a heartbeat on this equity on HIMS. I found it interesting. The patents are already expiring in very, very large markets like Canada and China in the same way. China's got a lot of obese people they were talking about. Very similar to almost America in terms of some of the obesity stats. So they were talking about. Whatever it is, be careful of this company. It's a $200 billion equity, and almost 2/3 of their revenue comes from products that anybody's going to be able to make in 5 to 6 years. How's that for a business plan at $200 billion, right? Very difficult to task. Now, they come up with ways, right? You go back to even some of the pain drugs. Then you have a time-released type of the pain drug, so that resets the patent, right? There's certain ways that you can alter that drug to reestablish a patent in the timeline. I'm sure they're going to focus on some of that, but guess what? When $15 Wegovy pills hit the market, and, you know, as it should be in terms of, you know, like we all know, folks, it's about healthy eating, right? But no matter what it's about, just talking about the market, man, these are drugs that they're making a lot of money off, and I can't believe. Let's put it this way. I find it very difficult of how they're going to manage that type of a patent expiring. It's the holy grail, weight loss, right? They have the patent to the holy grail. Well, now Lilly's got a product, and that patent expires right now in Canada, right now in China, and in 6 years in America. How's that for risk? Speaking of risks, we got a little sell-off to kick things off. We're 18 minutes into the trading day. NASDAQ rolls into the red just like that. Yeah, Cisco leading the way, down by 7.5. Let's check out AppLovin, down 12+%. All right. Oh, boy. Where's the next stop? Look at this accelerating volume. You're going to have a big volume day today, and you got tomorrow to finish it up. And you're only about 12 million shares from breaking the weekly. Oh, man. And you did 10.6 yesterday, 6. You could do it with a big day like this when you're down 16%. That's when you get some volume, man. And you break below that with volume, I mean, next stop's at least the lows out here in June. And maybe that's it when you had some strength out there with a low of 320 or 385. Tough looking chart for AppLovin. On the flip side of that, Micron. How about it? See if we can get some volume. Probably not going to take it out with volume. Very hard to do. We had 214 million last week. We're at 125 million, so not even close. Yeah, we got a little pullback in Apple. Apple down 1.1%. We jump around to the big dogs. Amazon off 0.8%. We got Microsoft right now, 0.7. Little selling across the board right now with the NASDAQ rolling into the red. Meta off by 0.4%. Tesla in the green by 0.5%. We jump over the banks. They were on fire at the beginning of yesterday, but talk about a give back, man. Yeah, and finishing that, just carrying forward. Look at the sell-off we just got again. JP Morgan in the red again. We got bad ticks out here. Bank of America off another 0.8%. What's happening here? Citi slightly in the green. Wells Fargo up 0.1. Check out the S&P 500. Look at the industrials, man. Whew. GE up 3.3%, Raytheon 2%, Caterpillar up 1.6%, Walmart, man. Let's jump. We're gonna jump to Walmart after the break, folks. Walmart, look at this, up 2.5%. We'll come right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. And yeah, Walmart hits an all-time high today. Again, 132.12. That's a weekly chart we're looking at right now. We're at 131.67 right now. And boy, you talk about an acceleration, and it's not stopping, man. Look at this move today. We just get above the highs. Now, we had a tremendous day back there in January with volume. But you take a look at the weekly. Look at that acceleration with volume. That's how you like to do it, man. Last week, almost 147 million shares. The only thing hanging out there was that January 16th day, which was extraordinary. We back this up even further, and you're talking about a 1-to-1 that takes this thing to 135. We're basically almost there. 131.80. Walmart, all-time highs, yet again, remarkably strong. Look at the volume coming into this equity all year, right? You just traded from 109 to 131, and look at the volume. That's what you like to see. Okay, 108 million. My goodness, the 562. 125.97 and 147 last week. It's not exactly like we're pushing higher on light volume. We're just holding on to those highs right now. We check back in on metals. Gold down $22 right now, 5,076. Keep your eye on those volume numbers, folks. We'll see how we come in today. Yesterday, only 125,000. We'll see if we can get some volume back into these metals markets with gold above 5,000, silver off $1.23. Same thing. Watch those volume numbers. We jump over the volatility index this morning, 1744. as we pair things a bit and we jump around to some of those equities with movement. Yeah, Cisco. All right. This thing's been on a straight trip higher since April. And look at this move. We did the same thing 6 months ago, but not as much pronounced. We just traded off $11 now. $11, just like that, from $88 2 days ago. 77.43. You talk about volatility. Micron up by 5.1%. Folks, stay tuned. We got our man Basil Chapman. He's coming up next with the Tiger Technicians Hour. Steve Rhodes live at 11 o'clock with the Trader's Edge. Fast Market from the Schwab Network at noon. Larry Pesavento with Trade What You See at 1 o'clock. And I'll see you back at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Thanks so much for kicking off your trading day right here with me, folks. Stay tuned. Basil Chapman, he's coming up right now. We'll be right back, folks.